The tension across Europe's biggest clubs has reached a boiling point, and each storyline seems more dramatic than the last. The uncertainty at Real Madrid, the power moves unfolding in the Premier League, and the looming transfer battles that could define the next era of European football all combine into a landscape where pressure, money, and ambition collide harder than ever. And beneath all of it lies the question every supporter wants answered. Who will rise? Who will fall? And who will be forced out before the dust settles? At Manchester City, one situation appears to be stabilizing just in time. Phil Foden, once burdened by questions about form and consistency, is finally edging back toward his best. His season began quietly, almost cautiously, as if he were carrying invisible weight from a difficult previous year. But gradually, the spark returned. He began to glide between defenders again, demanding the ball, deciding attacking moments with the confidence of a player born for Guardiola's system. City has no intention of allowing even a shadow of uncertainty around his future. Despite his contract still running until 2027, the club is pushing to sign him to a new, improved deal that would place him among their highest earners. A move like this does more than secure a player, it sends a message. Foden and Gnabry are the core of the new Manchester City blueprint. One provides the rhythm, the other provides the imagination. If City lock them both down long-term, it becomes a declaration that the club's identity will be built around players capable of sustaining Guardiola's demands for years to come. And while interest from top European sides and even Saudi Arabia has flickered in the background, City knows that momentum is on their side. Foden looks settled again, hungry again, and ready to step back into the spotlight as the future leader he was always meant to be. But while City safeguards their star boy, Chelsea scans the Premier League for the next generational midfielder. Their radar has zeroed in on Adam Wharton, Crystal Palace's 21-year-old rising talent whose maturity and game intelligence have made him one of England's most intriguing prospects. Wharton is not simply another tidy passer or defensive workhorse. He is a conductor, someone who reads the speed of a match instinctively, someone who makes everything around him look calmer and smoother than it should. Chelsea's obsession with young talent is no secret, and Wharton fits their long-term strategy perfectly. Yet Palace holds all the leverage. With a contract running until 2029 and a player who has already become the heartbeat of their midfield, they can dictate terms without flinching. Chelsea sees a future leader. Palace sees a long-term asset, and the rest of Europe sees an opportunity. That is why Chelsea cannot afford missteps in this pursuit. One delay, one failed negotiation, and another club could easily jump ahead. If they succeed, they secure a midfielder who could anchor their project for nearly a decade. If they fail, they lose what could be one of the smartest signings of the next generation. Meanwhile, a transfer storm is forming around Dayot Upamecano, and it is not a small one. For European giants, PSG, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Barcelona are circling the Bayern defender with different motives, financial realities, and varying degrees of desperation. PSG sits in pole position, armed with resources no one else can match, and convinced that Upamecano fits their ongoing rebuild perfectly. Chelsea, battling defensive inconsistency, sees him as the experienced peak-age defender they've lacked. Liverpool watches cautiously, knowing that if Konate leaves on a free, they'll need another powerful defender built to thrive in a high line. Barcelona, strapped for cash but desperate for defensive stability, hopes Bayern's fear of losing him for free might create an opportunity. Behind the scenes, the tug-of-war has already begun. Bayern are trying to convince Upamecano with a lucrative salary increase, but their refusal to offer a massive signing bonus or release clause is becoming a major obstacle. PSG, on the other hand, has no issue offering both, knowing that decisive financial force can break almost any stalemate. For Upamecano, the next step will define his prime years. Regular football, a stable project, and a clear trajectory are his priorities, and each club offers something different. PSG offers dominance. Liverpool offers structure. Chelsea offers a central role. Barcelona offers legacy. The only certainty is that this saga will escalate rapidly as the window approaches. Liverpool is also maneuvering carefully behind the scenes as they monitor Serge Gnabry's situation at Bayern Munich. The German winger faces a complicated future, essential to Bayern at times, but too expensive for the club to justify under his current salary demands. With his contract nearing its end and Bayern unwilling to maintain his massive wages, the door is open. Liverpool, seeking experienced firepower following key departures and inconsistencies elsewhere, sees a potential free transfer. Gnabry brings Premier League experience, Champions League pedigree, and efficiency that few wide players can match. But there is a dilemma. Liverpool has always been cautious with wages, especially for players over 30. Signing Gnabry would mean bending their own rules for short-term gain, a move that could either stabilize their attack or disrupt their wage structure. The appeal is undeniable. No transfer fee, proven production, and a style perfectly suited to the Premier League. the risk is just as clear. But in a competitive market where Juventus and other clubs are watching the situation closely, Liverpool knows that hesitation might cost them a valuable piece of their next cycle. Yet, the most dramatic storyline of all is unfolding at Real Madrid, where whispers have grown into concerns and concerns are beginning to resemble warning sirens. Reports suggest that Xabi Alonso, once imagined as the ideal long-term architect for Madrid's future, is already losing parts of the dressing room. Not rebellion, not open conflict, but something perhaps more dangerous: detachment. The players, according to those close to the club, are struggling to fully grasp the direction Alonso is pushing them toward. His strict, detail-heavy approach, intended to impose total control, is beginning to wear down the atmosphere. Some players feel rotated without reason. Others feel their roles are shifting in ways that dilute their strengths. Vinicius, Rodrigo, Valverde, all have, in one way or another, felt the effects of Alonso's rigid system. And in a dressing room filled with enormous personalities and global stars, even small cracks can widen quickly. The fear now is not that a couple of players are frustrated, but that trust as a whole is beginning to erode. If Vinicius, one of the club's central pillars, decides he cannot align with the manager's direction, the consequences would be disastrous. Real Madrid is not a club that tolerates long-term tension between stars and coaches. They make choices quickly, decisively, and without hesitation. Alonso's job is not yet in serious danger, but the warning signs are unmistakable. If he cannot rebuild trust and reconnect with the players who define Madrid's identity, this story could take a dramatic turn sooner than anyone expected. Football, as always, moves with the speed of changing seasons. One moment, a player is indispensable. The next, he is questioning his role. One club secures its cornerstone for the future. Another finds itself negotiating for survival behind closed doors. And every decision made this year will echo across the decade ahead. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the biggest stories shaping world football, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Which transfer saga caught your attention the most? Do you think Xabi Alonso can turn things around at Real Madrid? And where should Upamecano choose to spend the peak of his career? Let us know. Your voice shapes the conversation, and there's plenty more drama on the way.